You are one in a million, my beloved, not someone random, not a passing face in a crowded world, but someone very precious and close to my heart. And I want you to feel the weight of that truth settling gently within you as you listen. From the beginning, I have known you by name, not as a number, not as a coincidence, but as a life carefully formed with intention, thought, and love that reaches deeper than words can explain. You have often wondered if you truly mattered, if your presence made a difference. And I tell you now, your existence carries meaning that stretches far beyond what you can currently see. There are countless people in the world, yet there is only one you with your voice, your heart, your way of caring, and this uniqueness is not accidental, it is cherished. I see you when you feel overlooked, when your efforts go unnoticed, when you give more than you receive, and still I call you precious, because value is not measured by recognition. You are close to my heart not because of what you achieve, but because of who you are becoming, shaped through perseverance, kindness, and endurance learned in quiet places. Even in moments when you felt ordinary, unseen, or replaceable, my love for you never diminished. It remained steady, constant, and personal. I listen when you speak softly in your thoughts, when your prayers are unpolished, when your words come out tangled, and I understand every unspoken longing. You are not lost in a crowd to me. Your story is familiar, your struggles are known, and your joys are celebrated in ways you may never fully realize. There were times you felt distant, unsure, or unworthy of closeness, yet my heart never moved away from you. It remained open, inviting, patient. I delight in the way you care deeply, even when it costs you, in the way you try again after disappointment, in the way you keep hope alive despite fatigue. You are rare not because you are flawless, but because you continue, you grow, you learn, and you choose love even when it feels difficult. Nothing about you is overlooked, not your tears, not your laughter, not the courage it takes for you to show up each day. When you feel small in a vast world, remember that closeness is not about size or noise, it is about connection, and ours is strong. You are held in regard, not at a distance, but near, where care is tender and attention is constant. Others may misunderstand you, underestimate you, or fail to see your depth, but I see fully, clearly, and lovingly. Your life carries quiet significance, the kind that changes hearts, influences paths, and leaves traces of light long after moments pass. Remain aware of who you are to me. Let that awareness steady you when doubt arises and soften you when pride tempts you. You are chosen for relationship, for purpose, for growth, and for love that does not fade with circumstances. As you move forward, carry this truth with you gently. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are treasured, and this closeness continues to shape each step you take, flowing onward into every moment that follows with calm assurance and enduring love. Your life is going to shift rapidly, my child, and this change will not arrive as chaos but as movement with purpose, like a river that suddenly gains strength and direction, carrying you forward faster than you expected, yet exactly where you need to be. What once felt delayed will begin to accelerate. Conversations will open doors, decisions will gain clarity, and situations that stayed still for too long will finally respond, as if timing itself has agreed to cooperate with what has been prepared in you. This shift will feel surprising at first because you became accustomed to waiting, adjusting, enduring, but now momentum replaces stagnation, and you will notice how quickly things begin to align once they start moving. You may sense a new urgency within you, not anxiety, but readiness, a feeling that you can no longer remain where you were because growth is calling you forward with confidence. Old patterns that limited you will lose their hold. Habits that once drained you will fall away naturally, and your priorities will sharpen as you recognize what truly deserves your energy. People around you may notice the change before you fully do. They will sense your increased assurance, your clearer boundaries, and your calmer response to challenges that once unsettled you. This rapid shift does not mean everything becomes easy, but it does mean everything becomes purposeful. Even obstacles will serve as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Opportunities you never planned for will surface, not because you chased them, but because your readiness has made you visible to them. You will find yourself making decisions faster, not recklessly, but with trust in your discernment, because doubt no longer controls your pace. Your inner world will shift first, confidence settling where uncertainty lived, peace replacing the constant need to prove yourself, and from this inner change, outward transformation will follow naturally. What once took months to resolve may now take days. What once required effort will begin to flow. And this change will remind you that seasons truly do turn. You will look back and realize how necessary the waiting was, how it strengthened your foundation so that this acceleration does not overwhelm you. Relationships will shift as well. Some will grow deeper, some will gently fade, and this will not feel like loss but alignment. Your voice will carry more weight, your actions more impact, and your presence will feel grounded rather than uncertain. This rapid movement will invite you to stay attentive, to remain humble, and to keep your heart open, because speed requires balance to remain steady. Joy will appear in unexpected moments, not loud or dramatic, but steady and reassuring, reminding you that change can be beautiful. You will begin to trust yourself more, your timing, your instincts, your ability to adapt, and this trust will make every step forward lighter. As things continue to shift, you will notice how fear no longer dictates your choices, curiosity and faith take its place. This season asks you to remain present, to move forward without clinging to the past, and to receive what unfolds without resistance. And as your life continues to shift rapidly, you walk onward with clarity, resilience, and calm expectation, allowing each new moment to build upon the last, flowing steadily into what comes next with confidence and quiet strength. If you click away, you will lose my blessings, so stay right here. Angels in heaven are very happy because of you. My child, remain still for a moment and let your heart lean toward my voice, because this moment is not ordinary, it is wrapped in purpose, and heaven itself is attentive to your choice to stay, to listen, to trust what is unfolding within you now. Right where you are, unseen joy is rising. The angels rejoice not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to pause, willing to hear, willing to believe that my presence is near, and this willingness opens doors that force alone never could. As you remain, blessings do not rush, they settle gently, aligning what has been scattered, restoring what felt delayed, and preparing what you did not even know to ask for, because I give with care and timing shaped by love. I see the weight you carry quietly, the responsibilities you shoulder without applause. And heaven celebrates your endurance, your quiet faith, your decision to keep going, even when answers felt distant. Do not underestimate this moment, my child. Staying is an act of faith, and faith draws heaven's attention. It moves angels into motion. It creates space for peace to enter places where worry once lived. There is a reason your spirit feels stirred, a reason your heart beats a little differently now. It is because alignment is happening, and blessings recognize where they are welcomed. I speak gently yet firmly, remain present, because what I pour out is not rushed. It is layered, meaningful, and meant to reach every corner of your life, including the parts you have hidden from everyone else. Angels stand ready with joy, not because of what you own or what you have achieved, but because your heart has chosen connection over distraction, and that choice echoes loudly in the unseen. Let calm wash over you. Let expectation rise without anxiety. There is no need to strain. What is meant for you flows naturally when you stay anchored in trust. This is not about fear of loss. It is about awareness of value, recognizing that what is sacred deserves attention, and that blessings grow where reverence is given space. Stay a little longer, my child. Allow hope to stretch. Allow joy to breathe. Allow faith to deepen, because each moment you remain, something unseen is being arranged for your good. Heaven smiles at consistency, at patience, at hearts that listen without demanding immediate proof, and that smile carries warmth, reassurance, and promise. I am here, still speaking, still guiding, still unfolding what comes next. And as you remain attentive, the path ahead becomes clearer, softer, and filled with quiet assurance that continues gently forward as you walk with me into the next moment of trust and peace that waits just ahead and flows onward. Soon you will receive something big which you would not have thought about. My child, and I speak this not to stir impatience, but to awaken expectation, because what approaches your life has been forming quietly, beyond your calculations, beyond the limits of what you imagined possible. What is coming does not resemble your past struggles. It does not mirror former disappointments. It arrives from a direction you did not watch closely, and that is why it will surprise you, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you that my ways are higher than your planning. You have prayed for clarity, yet what you will receive is confirmation. You have hoped for relief, yet what comes will be renewal, something layered, meaningful, and deeply personal, touching areas you thought would always remain unchanged. This gift does not rush loudly. It moves steadily, aligning people, timing, and circumstances with precision so that when it reaches you, it fits without strain, like a key meeting a door that has waited patiently to be opened. There were moments you nearly gave up expecting anything good, moments when hope felt risky, but even then, preparation continued, because what is meant for you is not cancelled by weariness. Understand this, my child, what is approaching is not only for your benefit, it will ripple outward, affecting your family, your peace, your future decisions, and the confidence with which you will step forward. You may have thought your season was ordinary, repetitive, or quiet, yet beneath the surface, growth was taking place, strengthening you for something larger than you first desired. This coming moment will not demand that you become someone else. It will meet you as you are, yet it will call you higher, inviting you to walk with more assurance and less fear. Be ready to recognize it, because blessings do not always arrive wrapped in drama. Sometimes they come as opportunities, sometimes as answers, sometimes as strength you suddenly realize you possess. Your patience has not been wasted. Every delay shaped your discernment. Every waiting hour refined your heart, and that refinement allows you to hold what is coming without losing yourself. I know you wondered if unseen effort mattered, if silent faith counted, and I tell you now it mattered deeply. It counted fully, and it prepared space for abundance to land gently. This arrival will shift how you see yourself. It will soften old doubts, and it will remind you that your story is still unfolding with intention. Do not rush ahead of it, my child. Let it come in its fullness. Receive it with gratitude rather than disbelief, because it is not an accident, it is alignment. Others may not understand immediately, and that is all right. What is given to you does not require explanation, only stewardship and humility. As it unfolds, you will sense peace rather than chaos, clarity rather than confusion, and a quiet joy that settles instead of fades. Remain attentive, stay grounded, continue walking faithfully in small things, because consistency keeps you ready without anxiety. What comes next builds upon this moment, and the path forward opens gradually, step by step, with assurance growing as you move. And this unfolding continues softly, carrying promise forward into what awaits just beyond the next breath, steady and sure. The moment you have been waiting for is here, and you no longer need anyone's support, my child, because what rises within you now is strength that does not depend on applause, permission, or constant reassurance. It is the quiet knowing that you are upheld, guided, and capable beyond what you once believed. This moment did not arrive suddenly. It was shaped by every delay, every unanswered question, every season where you learned to stand even when support felt uncertain. And now that learning has become confidence. You are not being pushed away from others. You are being pulled deeper into clarity, where your footing is steady and your direction no longer shifts with every opinion or reaction. I see how often you leaned outward, hoping someone would affirm what you already carried inside. And now that inner voice has grown clear enough to lead without trembling. This is the hour where hesitation loosens its grip, where you stop waiting for approval to begin, because you recognize that what was placed in you is sufficient to take the next step. You have learned discernment through disappointment, resilience through silence, and courage through moments when encouragement was scarce, and these lessons have matured you. What you hold now is not isolation, it is independence of spirit, the ability to move forward without fear of being abandoned, because you are anchored in purpose. The waiting refined your patience, but this moment activates movement, not rushed, not pressured, but intentional and confident. You no longer measure your worth by who stays or who leaves, because your value has been established far deeper than circumstance. There will still be companionship, still shared joy, still connection, yet your progress no longer depends on being carried because you have learned how to walk. This strength does not shout, it steadies, it does not boast, it builds, and it allows you to act with wisdom rather than urgency. You may feel a calm resolve replacing the old need for constant validation, and that calm is a sign of readiness. Doors that once required persuasion now open naturally because you arrive with clarity instead of doubt. This season asks you to trust what you have become, to honor the growth that happened quietly, and to move without second guessing every step. You are not alone, but you are no longer dependent, and there is peace in that balance. Let your actions flow from conviction. Let your decisions come from stillness rather than pressure, and let your path unfold without fear of standing on your own. What follows this moment builds upon your steadiness, and the journey continues forward with assurance, unfolding gently into what comes next as you walk calmly ahead. I have watched every tear you carried in silence, every breath that felt heavy with unspoken sorrow, and I want you to know that none of it was invisible, none of it was ignored, and none of it was meaningless. Because even when you felt forgotten, your pain was fully seen and deeply understood. There were nights when your heart felt overwhelmed, when questions echoed louder than answers, and when hope seemed distant. Yet even then, strength was being formed within you in ways you could not recognize at the time. You endured moments that tested your patience, seasons that stretched your faith, and circumstances that demanded more resilience than you thought you possessed. Yet here you stand, not broken, but refined by what you survived. Every struggle you faced carved depth into your spirit, teaching you compassion, humility, and endurance that cannot be learned through comfort alone. There were times when you felt surrounded by difficulty, when relief seemed delayed, and when joy felt like a distant memory, yet each moment carried you closer to restoration. The weight you carried did not crush you, it strengthened your foundation, preparing you to stand firmly when peace returned. Your suffering was not punishment, it was a passage, a journey through growth that reshaped your perspective and revealed your inner courage. Even when you questioned why the burden lasted so long, progress was quietly unfolding, aligning circumstances toward healing and resolution. What once felt endless has reached its conclusion, not abruptly, but intentionally, closing chapters that no longer define you. The heaviness that lingered in your thoughts begins to lift, replaced by clarity and calm that settle gently into your days. Where anxiety once occupied space, reassurance now takes root, reminding you that endurance has given way to relief. You no longer need to brace yourself for constant hardship because the season of survival is giving way to a season of renewal. Lessons learned through pain now become tools for wisdom, allowing you to navigate life with greater understanding and confidence. The emotional wounds that felt raw are gradually healing, leaving behind strength instead of scars that control you. Your heart, once burdened by fear and uncertainty, now opens to trust and peace without resistance. You will notice how lighter each step feels, how laughter returns naturally, and how rest no longer feels like a luxury but a gift. The endurance you developed remains, but the pressure that shaped it begins to fade. What drained you no longer holds power over your thoughts or your future. Hope re-enters your life not as a fragile wish, but as a steady presence guiding your outlook. You begin to recognize how much you have grown, how capable you are, and how deeply your resilience runs. This closing of suffering allows space for joy, purpose, and fulfillment to emerge without fear of collapse. Your story shifts from survival to living, from endurance to intention. Peace settles not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer defined by pain. Strength and gentleness now coexist within you, shaping how you move forward. And as this season fully settles, you walk ahead unburdened, steady, and renewed, carrying wisdom from the past while embracing a future that unfolds calmly, confidently, and with enduring hope. You are never forgotten, not for a single moment, not in any passing second of your life, because my presence does not depend on who remembers you or who walks beside you. It remains steady even when the world turns its back. When voices fade and familiar footsteps disappear, I remain unchanged and attentive, watching over you with a care that does not weaken with distance or disappointment. There will be times when trust is broken, when promises fall apart, and when loyalty you relied on slips away unexpectedly. Yet even then, my nearness does not waver. I see how betrayal cuts deeper than loss, how it leaves questions echoing in your heart, and still I stay, offering comfort that does not demand explanation. You may feel abandoned by those you once leaned on, but abandonment is never your final condition, because my commitment to you does not expire with circumstance. When others misunderstand your intentions or misjudge your heart, I know the truth of who you are and why you endure. Even in isolation, when silence feels loud and support feels distant, you are held, guided, and protected by a presence that does not sleep. People may walk away when things become difficult, but I do not retreat when your strength feels small. I remain in the quiet moments when you question your worth, reminding you that value is not assigned by acceptance, but by purpose. There are seasons when companionship feels scarce, when you wonder if anyone truly sees you, and in those seasons, my attention rests fully upon you. I stand with you when trust feels risky, when opening your heart feels unsafe, and when past wounds make you cautious. You do not have to perform to earn my closeness. You do not have to hide your pain to keep my attention. Even when you feel overlooked, forgotten by names that once mattered, you are fully remembered here. I am present when tears fall privately, when prayers feel heavy, and when hope feels like work rather than joy. Others may leave when they no longer benefit, but I remain because love is not transactional. I stay through confusion, through rebuilding, through moments when faith feels fragile and questions feel endless. You are not required to carry everything alone, even when it seems like you have no one else to lean on. I walk beside you when you move forward cautiously, and I remain when you pause to gather strength. Betrayal does not define your future, and loneliness does not determine your worth. I am with you in rebuilding trust, in learning discernment, and in finding peace without bitterness. When the world feels unreliable, my presence becomes your anchor, steady and unchanging. You are never invisible here, never dismissed, never set aside. Even when relationships fracture, connection remains. Even when hearts turn cold, care remains. I am near in your resilience, near in your healing, near in every step you take forward. Amen.